You threw something away today. Maybe it was a crumpled receipt, an old battery, a greasy paper bag from lunch. You didn't think twice about it. Nobody does. But here's the thing. Some of what's sitting in your trash bin right now can ignite a fire without a single spark, without a flame, without you even touching it. This isn't a scare tactic. This is chemistry. This is physics. And once you understand why it happens, you'll never look at your waste the same way again. Let's go through 7 of them, one by one.
Steel wool, the stuff you use to scrub a stubborn pan. Most people toss it in the kitchen bin and forget about it. But used steel wool, the kind that's picked up moisture and grease, is genuinely dangerous in certain conditions. Here's why. Steel wool is made of incredibly thin iron filaments. When those filaments are exposed to oxygen and moisture, they begin to oxidize. That's rust. And oxidation is at its core a chemical reaction that releases heat. Normally, that heat dissipates, but in a compressed, damp environment, like inside a trash bag, heat can build up faster than it escapes. The smaller the filaments, the greater the surface area exposed to oxygen. A 9-volt battery touching steel wool is a famous fire-starting trick. The electricity jumps between the terminals and ignites it instantly. But even without a battery, if steel wool is packed tightly with other flammable materials, that slow oxidation heat can be enough. What to do? Let used steel wool dry fully before tossing it. Better yet, store it in a sealed metal container before disposal.
This one causes actual house fires, not theoretical fires, real ones. If you've ever used a paper towel or cloth rag to wipe up cooking oil, linseed oil, wood finishing oil, or even certain cleaning products, and then thrown it in the trash, you've created a potential hazard. The process is called spontaneous combustion. Certain oils, especially drying oils like linseed oil, tung oil, and walnut oil, release heat as they oxidize and cure. That's the same chemical process that makes them harden on wood. They react with oxygen. A single rag left in a pile can reach ignition temperature on its own, no flame required. It can take anywhere from a few hours to a full day, depending on the oil, the temperature, and how tightly the material is packed. Cooking oils are lower risk, but not zero risk, especially if the paper towel was exposed to heat during cooking, if it's crumpled tightly, or if it's sitting near something else that traps warmth. Garages, workshops, and kitchens are the most common places this happens. What to do? Spread oily rags flat to dry in open air before disposal. For heavily soaked rags with finishing oils, soak them in water in a metal container before throwing them out, or contact your local hazardous waste facility.
Old phone, dead earbuds, a swollen laptop battery, a worn-out power bank. These all contain lithium-ion cells, and they don't become safe just because they're dead. Lithium-ion batteries fail through a process called thermal runaway. It can happen when the battery is physically damaged, when it's been short-circuited, or when it's stored in conditions that cause internal breakdown. The battery generates heat, that heat causes more chemical reactions, those reactions generate more heat, and within minutes temperatures can reach over 400 degrees Celsius. The terrifying part, this can happen days or weeks after the battery was thrown away. In a garbage truck, batteries get compressed. That mechanical pressure can cause internal short circuits. Garbage trucks and recycling facilities worldwide have caught fire this way. It's a documented growing problem. A single swollen battery is the highest risk. The swelling means gases are already building up inside. What to do? Never throw lithium batteries in general trash. Most electronics retailers and municipal waste centers accept battery drop-offs. If a battery is swollen, place it in a cool, dry, open space, not a drawer, not a bag, and take it to a recycling point as soon as possible.
Half-empty hairspray, almost finished spray paint, a deodorant can that still hisses when you press it. These are pressure vessels, and pressure vessels in the wrong conditions behave in ways people rarely think about. Even a can that seems completely empty still contains pressurized propellant. In a hot environment, a trash bin left in direct sun, the back of a garbage truck on a warm day, an incinerator, that pressure builds. The can doesn't need a flame to cause a problem. It can rupture violently, spraying flammable gas in all directions. And if there is any ignition source nearby, a spark, a cigarette butt, a piece of steel wool, that gas cloud ignites. The issue is compounded in closed spaces: a garbage truck cabin, a trash compactor room, a storage shed. Small ignitions become big ones quickly when there's pressurized flammable gas involved. What to do? Try to fully empty aerosols before disposal. Many recycling programs accept empty aerosol cans as metal. Check your local guidelines, because partially full cans may need to go through hazardous waste collection. This seems obvious, but the way people actually throw away matches makes it less obvious than you'd think. A single match isn't much of a threat, but a box of matches that still has loose heads rolling around, thrown into a bin that also contains crumpled paper, dry packaging, and other friction-generating materials? Match heads contain phosphorus compounds and oxidizers. They're designed to ignite with minimal friction. In a trash bag that's being dragged, lifted, dropped, and compacted, that friction exists. The scenario that actually causes fires isn't a single match. It's a partially used matchbox that gets compressed against rough packaging material. The heads scrape, one ignites. It's enough. There's also the water problem. Book matches that have been damp and then dried can become even more sensitive to friction as they dry unevenly. What to do? Soak used and unused matches in water before throwing them away. Wet match heads won't ignite from friction. Takes 5 seconds.
This one surprises people the most. A glass bottle, a magnifying lens from a broken toy, a curved piece of glass from a broken frame. Glass can act as a lens, concentrating sunlight into a focused point of heat. This is basic optics, the same principle behind a magnifying glass and a fire. And it doesn't require perfect conditions. It just requires the right angle, the right shape, and the right material underneath. Curved glass, the bottom of a bottle, a bowl, a cracked lens, can focus sunlight onto dry paper, dry leaves, or dry packaging in a trash bin and raise the temperature of a small spot to over 200 degrees Celsius. Paper ignites around 233 degrees Celsius. This happens more often in outdoor bins, recycling areas near windows, or anywhere glass waste sits in sunlight. It's slow. It might take 20 to 40 minutes of focused light, but it's real. In 2010 and again in 2018, multiple outdoor fires were attributed to glass concentrating sunlight onto dry vegetation near waste areas. What to do? Wrap broken glass before disposal. This also protects sanitation workers. For outdoor recycling bins in sunny climates, keep glass in shaded or covered containers where possible.
After a barbecue, after cleaning out a fireplace, after burning garden waste. The ash looks cold. It looks gray and dead. People scoop it into a plastic bag or a cardboard box and throw it in the trash. This is how fires start. Wood ash and charcoal ash can retain live embers for up to 72 hours after a fire appears to have gone out. The outside of the ash pile cools, the center doesn't. It's insulated by the ash itself, the same way a thermos keeps heat inside. When that cold ash hits a plastic trash bag, the bag melts. When it touches dry paper or cardboard, ignition can happen within minutes. The trash bin doesn't catch fire in front of you. It catches fire 2 hours later, in the garage, next to the rest of the rubbish. This is one of the leading causes of residential fires in homes with fireplaces and barbecues across North America, Europe, and Australia. Every winter, every summer, predictably. What to do? Always store ash in a metal container with a metal lid. Leave it there for at least 72 hours before disposal. When you're ready to throw it out, add water to ensure it's fully cold. No plastic bags, no cardboard. If this video changed how you think about even one thing in your trash, that's the whole point. Share it with someone who cooks a lot, someone with a workshop, someone who uses a fireplace. Not to scare them, just because knowing this genuinely matters. And if there's something you've seen or heard about that should have been on this list, drop it below. There's probably a part 2 in the comments already.